Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning to you.
How's it going? Happy Monday.
It is. It's Monday. We just had a holiday weekend. I'm on vacation today and tomorrow, so I'm psyched about that.
Yes. Oh, no.
What happened?
So somebody said you got a commercial? Oh, that's such a bummer.
What?
I'm so sorry, Johnny.
No, we're going to change that.
We're trying
to figure out our settings here. We don't want anyone to get a commercial.
Yeah, we've been working really hard for the... if they play before the stream starts, I don't know. I'm so sorry. We turned on monetization so we could do super chats, and you're supposed to be able to adjust how that happens.
Yeah, but we're pretty adamant. We don't want any commercials. We don't like watching them on TV. We don't want to have them on our show.
Oh, everybody, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. This is something that we haven't wanted to do the whole time, but
that's not the direction we're headed. So no more apologies. We're trying to make it better and bring you better stuff. So we'll get that fixed. We'll find the tick box and turn it off.
Yeah.
Hooded one. You're right. Yes, I agree. Never have commercials.
But yeah, if we have to give up super chats for the commercial,
that's fair.
No commercials, I'm totally okay with that.
We're new to this.
Yeah, it's all new. So
what are we doing today?
Well,
why don't we say hi to people?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so Alexander68C is here. Apples, Aubrey Kovac, Banff Snicked Thwip. I highly approve of that name.
A new name, right?
Yes.
We haven't seen them before. Welcome.
Brickanista, TrickyBricks is here. Hey, Eric. And Naomi, and Hooded One is here. Insane Lego Fan.
JMW Music. Joel Marbella. Johnny Cat's here. Hi, Johnny. Mairead Walsh. Lil Lego Studios. Marilyn Parmley. Did I miss anyone?
Minifig Chick and Moto are here, of course.
Who were up to hijinks yesterday.
We'll
talk about that.
Oh, my goodness.
At least I think Moto was involved.
Yeah, I don't know. Remy Baker is here. Steve Parmley.
Hey,
Zach
Steve.
Martinez and Kim Zarachino. How's it going? Welcome
everyone.
To any new people that we might have. I did actually, because of what we were doing.
What were we doing?
Because of what we were doing. On the subject of today, which is Lego lighting and lighting your Lego MOCs, I sort of advertised this show more than I usually do. So
we thought people might find it interesting.
Yeah. I think so.
So for today's pin, I went kind of science-y with, it's not a Disney pin, but I went with Lego Spaceman right there. The green spaceman that I've wanted for so long, astronaut.
And I'm wearing...
Excuse me, astronaut. That's such a better name than spaceman.
Spaceman. All right, I'm definitely wearing... I know I've worn this before, but I think it's been a while. But I've got my Mickey Mouse sort of like chocolate-covered ice cream thing, which, I would be totally all about that if we were going. I love those ice creams.
Mr. Spachemin.
Dr. Spachemin.
Did I get too far? Oh, I'll leave it there. It's all right.
All right, and then, so gosh, there's so much...
we have a lot to talk about today, so I'll tell you, I don't want to race through. It's beginner and intermediate lighting sort of all together. And I've been doing this for 35 years, so Flynn's going to help me, if I go down too many rabbit holes or something. But if we don't finish today, then we'll finish up next Monday.
Yes. We can definitely do a part 2, because you know what, it's our show and we can do what we need to do to make it happen. And I gotta say,
brightening us a little bit.
Yeah,
there you go. Look, that's so much more cheerful.
So anyway, sorry, just getting us.
See, he's trying to do stuff sly behind the scenes, and I'm just calling it right out.
Anyway, so yes, and thank you for everybody who's saying that the ads are not a problem. We appreciate that.
Good.
It was something
we're figuring it out.
Had hoped not to do. So yesterday, I socially distanced saw Minifig Chick and Paint Pusher, and they presented me with the official Thunderman, presented us with the official Thunderman minifig. He is here. Do we have our piece of paper?
Here we go.
Yeah, let's see if we can make this happen. This is always awkward.
See if you can see it. Is that going to work? Is he gonna focus? You get the
Come
gist,
on, you
but
focuser. Oh man, he's just not happy.
Well, you know what? We're high tech and low tech at the same time here.
Anyway, and I want to say, it's like he's got his thunder pants on, and like the lightning bolts on his pants are hand cut from black Lego stickers by Paint Pusher with a tiny X-Acto. Like, they are so tiny.
And if anyone wasn't here yesterday or didn't know from before, we got fan art from Holly's son Vincent made using the Mighty Men and Monster Makers kit that we talked about, and that's where Thunderman came from. And he made an appearance on the show yesterday.
He did. If you missed that,
he was swooshing in and out. It was crazy. He would fly in and out.
It was ridiculous.
Go back and look. It was the most ridiculous.
It is the most ridiculous stream we've ever done
out of almost 90 shows.
And then I tried at one point to try to like steer the boat back to like something, and
it was not to happen. It wasn't happening. No, there's no way. Oh, look, see, we've got people on Facebook.
Hey, Marcus. Too. Yeah, look, I'm looking on. I've got the multi-stream thing on today, so hopefully we'll see some more people on Facebook. How's it going, Marcus, on Facebook?
Let's see if I can do this here.
Yes, Richard is very much in teacher mode right now.
I am. Why am I all serious? Yeah, because I've got I have slides, and there's an outline, and there's demo things, so I got a lot going on in my brain today.
All right. Well, let's see. So we've
got our cue clock.
Are we foregoing stickers today, or are we doing stickers?
We've got we have stickers inspired by Lego lighting.
Okay, yes. Well then let me do this real quick.
Yep. We have 2 different stickers today based on We have 2 different stickers today, specifically about Lego lighting and how to introduce light into your MOCs. So this one right here is from set 41152. It's 16 by 10 studs big, Sleeping Beauty's Fairy Tale Castle from the Disney Princess line. And it came with Aurora, Maleficent, and little blue Merryweather.
It is not wanting to focus.
Yeah, it's today. Funny. Do you need to change the setting on that? Because we might need some autofocus. It's funny, it autofocused earlier today.
No, it's on. I gotta tell y'all, I am so done with these camera controls.
Yeah, you know, we've been Mac people our whole lives, and we find with PCs that there's multiple. There it is, look.
There. Ta-da.
Okay, so I think all of the Bramble is really cool, but the reason I picked this is because of the mirror and the windows. And I think those are great ways to bring light into your MOC, even if you're not using fancy electronic lighting. Put windows in it, and then light can get in. You know?
Yeah.
And then another way is with surfaces. And that's what this other sticker set is about. This is from 41168. It's 6.5 by 13 studs small. Look at that.
Oh, hey, Fred. Thanks for liking the stream. We appreciate it.
So this is from Elsa's Jewel Box Creation, and it came with Elsa with a glitter cape, medium blue skirt, and white shoes.
It did.
And I think even before any lighting equipment, a way to introduce light into your model is to put light colors like white or a bright color into a dark place, and it draws people's attention in. Or you can put a mirror in there as well.
Yeah.
So you don't even the way you build your models can bring light in.
Oh, TrickyBricks is here. How's it going?
Cool.
Welcome. All right, well, should we
just dive right in?
Wow, 10 minutes in, we're on some kind of
I know, it's
train.
Crazy. We're you'd almost say we're focused or something. Well, I'm going to have a little coffee here.
I don't know how that happened. I'm going to tilt our camera up a little bit. There we go.
And would you take down the camera control panel and we'll see the outline?
Sure. All right, so I'm going to be, pay no attenent to the man behind the curtain.
No, he's going to help.
You're going to help
here. Okay, so scroll up to the top of the script. My script up there.
Okay, yes.
And then we can go to the first slide. Even.
Oh, we're doing the slideshow now.
So, will the slideshow have me small in it? Okay, my voice is more important than my face here.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to try and make this happen here. This is it's a bit of a...
Seat Your Pants Productions presents...
Okay, there we go.
So, by way of introduction, I'm going to do some talking and then we'll do some demo. And I'm thinking it's going to be 15 minutes to a half hour of talking and then some hands-on stuff. So why do you want to light a MOC in the first place? I think you want to do it so people can see it. so cameras can see it if you want to photograph it. You want to direct focus and to create mood. And I think, so this is one of my earliest mocks you're seeing here. This is 2001. This is the scene near the end of the movie where Dave is pulling the memory chips out of Hal, right? Mm-hmm. And we needed to see it for the camera. So I have light in the front, just a really little bit of soft light there that's not making too bad of reflections. He's got reflections on his face. And then I wanted mood, so I've got a really bright light like a desk lamp coming in through the side. And then I didn't have any other lights at the time, so I put an iPhone in the back with the flashlight going through Hal's face there. So you want to see it, you want your camera to see it, and then the final thing is you want to create mood, right? You want to hear Dave is kind of dark. So let's go on to the next slide.
Okay.
I want to think about, and here also, we're in a convention setting here. This is our California Dreamin' piece, and we've got bright lights overhead in the convention center. And I imagine we're going to be back to conventions again, so you'll have those bright overhead lights. So I wanted, you can see our Hollywood section down here has a starlet on the left on the red carpet. And on the right, we've got the Wizard of Oz. So go to the next one, please. Mm-hmm. I wanted to highlight and have people focus where there's really bright lights around. So you can see I've got two trusses like these pieces here on either side of the set here, and I've mounted multiple lights on there, and they're pointed. It's hard to tell, but they're really adding to the focus here. They're lighting up the party, who is it?
The party?
Dorothy, yes. I know, I'm all D&D mode, right? Dorothy and the Tin Man and the lion there. And then I've got lights from overhead on another truss pointed at the Emerald City there. So even in a bright setting, you can highlight. And go to the next one, please. Mm-hmm. And then here, the starlet herself, it's hard to tell, but I'm using warm lights. And in a situation where there wasn't bright lights on the camera, like in our dining room or when you photograph it yourself, I've got lights on either side there. You see those big gray reflector dishes in front are pointing lights at her, and you can see how it's lighting her up because there's shadows on the background there.
All right.
And then to create mood, also in California Dreamin', we put bright orange lights inside our saloon there to be oldie timey like lighting, right? And going to the next one here, and then we wanted the 50s diner to be bright like it was a fluorescent lit 50s diner. So we have little light fixtures in there that really highlighted it when this would have been just about black. Right?
Yeah,
you would have barely been able to see in front. And let's go to the next one. And so here's again about creating mood, and I would hope maybe you can show the video from California Dreamin'. Each of those candles on the sleeping or on the
Beauty and the Beast.
On the Beauty and the Beast float flickered and was small enough to fit behind a stud there. And if you can't get that video, that's fine. That's cool. But the flickering really told people to look there and added some romance to it that was different from... there we go.
Okay, I'm going to try. I'm not sure how much of this you'll be able to see. I'm going to try and make this happen.
Now remember,
this one.
This is a bright convention setting here. So I want you to look at the fireworks above the Disney Castle on the right.
Okay, sorry. I gotta...
He's gonna change modes.
Yeah, I gotta... Sorry, everybody. I'm getting here, and that's not the right one, but this is. All right.
There we go.
Turn it on.
So you can see above the Disney Castle, I have blinking lights in different colors to be fireworks. And although it's very small, you can see flicker candles on the Dancing Around Beauty and the Beast on the right. And then if you can see a surfer in a wave near the center there, there's actually light on that surfer that's allowing you to see him and not be tiny. Let's go back to the slides if you can. I know, I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot from the studio here. We're going all over the place AV-wise.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. Yep. You can keep talking. I'm gonna get this ready.
The reasons you light a mock are so you can see it, cameras can see it, to direct people's focus, like with Beauty and the Beast, and to create mood, like with flicker candles, or to make a monster really spooky. So, and then you wonder, how do I do that in Lego? And so as a lighting designer, it works exactly the same way. I do theater and I've done film and video, music. It works exactly the same way in the real world and in a theater and in Lego. The way I think about how does light work in the real world, there's color of the source, which is like the sun is very blue or orange at sunset, and then a candle is very orange. So those different color sources. Go back, if you would.
Okay,
There. So we can see the surfer is on... Oh, will you bring this up to the... Is this up on screen now?
Yes.
For everyone? Okay. You can see the surfer is on the wave. He would be in a dark shadow, and I have a light up under the top of the wave there, pointed at him, that has a blue translucent brick on it, so it makes it cold like he's in the water. So the way light works in the real world is color is going to be warm or cool or like a bright party color, and then direction. I wanted the light to be like sunlight above, so I put it in a high angle coming down on him. And then will you go to the next slide?
Yep. Oh, and sorry, somebody was asking where they can see more detailed photos or videos of California Dreamin'. You can check out our Flickr page under TrickyBricks. You can also check out our Instagram, and I believe I hashtagged California Dreamin' the Ride.
That was our first big mock.
Yeah.
We won Best in Show for it.
We did, it's true. All right, so there we go.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about this?
So, going back to just a moment about color, one really cool thing about Lego is that it lights up under black light. Some of it does.
Some of it does.
The translucent green, translucent orange. And I was talking about colors of light. In addition to warm and cool for like, fire and sunlight, you can also do black light. And in this case, I have a really little black light LED, 2 of them there in the back, made by Life Lights, and I'll talk about them in a minute. Backlighting the windows from our Treasure of the Snake Queen piece.
That was fun. Yes.
Will you go forward to the next one there?
I will.
And that's also about direction of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the light was coming from behind, the elves' fences created a pattern in front of it. So if you light from behind your windows, the way walking down a street at night, that works to light them up bright and also look cool.
But what's the picture we're looking at here?
The picture we're looking at here, and we're going to see a video in just a second here, is a normal light. Oh, we can do that at the end.
No, it's all right.
Okay. This is a normal light view of the slime cave from our Treasure of the Snake Queen piece. And you can see on the diagonal there's a conveyor belt that's going to move minifigures through there. And it's not very exciting in normal white light. Go to the next slide, please. But under black light, all of that stuff glows. And I made this sort of curtain along the top, you can see in black there, that gave me a place to hide other lights behind. And then in front, behind these rock pieces, I have other things pointed at them that are front lighting all the stuff on that curtain. And here's what it looks like in the piece.
Well, what I think that's, I think what's important here too is that we created our own shade structures.
Yes.
For these lights, and this will show you a little bit about what that looks like. Let me see if I can get this to work. I'm sorry.
Well, we learned a big lesson in California Dreamin' in that piece was low and flat like a train layout, right? It was like a ping pong table. So the lights, I had a bunch of light in there, but the lights from the convention center blew out most of it because there wasn't any shade. The lights were going right down on Beauty and the Beast. And so this time we created a cave.
Right. We actually created several caves. So here's a video that our friend Davin took of it, and you can see
part of
this.
It, right?
Goodness, I don't know why it wants to keep scrolling up like that, but it's making me crazy.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and
it's okay. You can scroll back down. There. So now we're going through the forest, and we have some Arduino control bringing the spooky eyes in the forest on, and there's also, if you saw it in person.
Yeah, and you can see the lights kind of
on the left. You see you dim up. So as the figures move, those lights would dim up. And then finally, in our scary crypt, the skull eyes light up, showing you to follow the figures from right to left. So they're directing you.
And you had lights in the eyes of the dragon?
There's lights in the eyes of the dragon, and also you can see a flicker light in the castle window on the right. And we had 9 castle windows, I think. 9 castle towers. And then in the original version of this, I had 27 blacklight LEDs that lit up the windows behind her. But unfortunately, those were heavy, and they in version 2, we had to cut those, right? Which just killed me because I worked so hard on them. And I'll show you why in a minute.
Back to the slideshow?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Flynn. So if you want to see all of Treasure of the Snake Queen, go to our on our YouTube channel.
It's on our
we
YouTube
have a video.
page. After you're done watching this, you can go check it out.
Yeah,
it's if you're a subscriber, it's pinned to the top.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're new with us today, please subscribe to the channel and join us. We do lots of stuff like this. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is someone's cat having problems?
I don't know. Yes, somebody's at the vet. I'm sure. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I hope your cat feels better.
Better for your cat.
All right.
So let's go to the next slide. So, so these 2 colors, this is me with a dots bracelet with a blacklight flashlight, but these 2 colors fluoresce really brightly, and it can almost be like having a light inside your set if you light blacklight from the outside.
All right.
Okay, so this is a top-down view of the turntable from Treasure of the Snake Queen, and I've got a ring of, you can see the black pairs of dots around the outside. Those are wash fixtures that lit the windows on the low part, and then inside I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, I have like 17 lights that were lighting the upper part, and you can tell the Snake Queen was here in front with all the treasure. She's very light, and all that wire was heavy, so it threw it off kilter, and after all that tiny work, and I cabled it twice,
yes,
we had to pull it out. So, and then here's a view of all those cables coming down to the other one, and go to the next slide. And then here's a closer up view talking about mood, right? We were talking about how does light work in the real world. You've got color, and we've got very warm lights in the windows of the castle there to be like torches. Direction, it's coming from behind the window, and you can actually see the source, which means it's really bright, even in a convention setting. And then texture. Can we stop here for a moment and go to the down camera?
Okay. Will Strobel, yes, it does. On most of our scenes, it still makes the sound when people, like we brought it back finally a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So where are we going now?
I think, let's go, we can do the full front camera. How about that?
Okay. Let's go to the full front camera.
Thanks.
There we are.
So now we're talking about color, direction. We're talking about texture. I'm going to tip this down here.
Oh.
Okay.
Thunderman.
I know. Look, Thunderman's there too. So I chose a white suit astronaut here. She's having a great morning. So that you can see light, right? So color, we already talked about a little bit, is
big screen bird.
Warm and cool. And I don't know if you can see here.
If you hold it up to your hand, you could probably see the difference in the colors.
See there, if I don't get it too bright, there, you can see near my thumb is a warm white LED, right? It's orange like candlelight or your lights inside. And then because our studio is lit for daylight, the one near my fingers here is cool white, and that's reading just as white, right? But if you look at this in person, the one is very blue and the one is very orange. So that's color. And then direction, right? The sun, is this going to work on her? It's going to be too bright, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. We can do it from here.
Okay.
Maybe a different colored astronaut might have been better, but...
Well, here, why don't we take Thunderman?
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't we use Thunderman is really the question here.
We'll put Thunderman on a green base plate.
Let's see.
Okay. Right. So there from far. Oh, it's going to be so hard to tell. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. The idea is there.
Yeah, so you can think about direction of light from like directly above, like you know, in a sci-fi movie, and I'm being zapped up to the spaceship, or from the side here. I'm sorry, it's blown out. Like it's sunset in the west, right? Or in the back. Let's see. You know, like. Can I do it here?
Yeah.
More. If he was dark in the front there, that's more like you know, very very dramatic noir lighting, and then or you can move it from underneath, like
the Vincent Price.
Yeah, right.
Call it the Vincent
They're
Price.
totally like spooky lighting. Oh my goodness, Boris Karloff, Vincent Price. There's a window over there, and there's my bald head, but I'm being beamed up to a spaceship. So if you want to learn more about lighting design, there are great resources on the web. And if you just look like how to light a photograph, you'll see lots of documents that have way not overblown images of what top light, side light,
Are we back to
spooky underlight.
Oh, sorry. Are we back to the slideshow?
We can go back to the slideshow.
Okay.
What they say for direction of light is good people are lit from heaven, bad people are lit from hell, right? So you go outside on a sunny day and you're playing volleyball, the light is above you and it looks all super cheerful. And then you're in Minecraft and you go right up to the edge of the cliff and the light is coming from underneath from the lava and you look really spooky. So do that with your figures. Think about a sphere of light around your model, and you can put light anywhere in that. So here I've taken, this is from Treasure of the Snake Queen's Spooky Waterfall, and behind the bats there I have these little light fixtures, and I have them in black and dark gray, and I wanted them to be cool white, so I put translucent blue dots. I've got 4 lights there. I'll show you those fixtures a little later. Go to the next slide, please.
Alrighty.
Here's a little bit closer view of the fixture. I've got these 4 cones on it, and then if you go one more, there is the effect, right? So from high and on the right, I was thinking about moonlight, because this was our dark, spooky side. I had moonlight on the gray, making it cool, and the purple, poisonous waterfall. And then also because we've got these silver crystals in there, they pick up light. Anything sparkly that you can put in your model is going to pick up light. How am I doing so far? Are there questions so far?
No, so far it seems we're having a Thunderman discussion right now.
Oh, good.
So yes, I've discovered now that my mouse is defective and I have to get a new one.
Okay,
That's what's
time for a new mouse.
All right,
so here's a closer up view of the skulls in Treasure of the Snake Queen, and what we did here is rather than having them all on all the time, which is like here's a lit room, we directed it and we said as the figures move across, they're going to come on one at a time.
Right. Well, that was, and we wanted that. It was very Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah.
Like we wanted that idea. The same thing with the lights in the forest that came on, which I think you could see less well in the video.
All of that, but in person, I have 35 years as a lighting guy, and I have such terrible photos because I work with low light levels that work for the human eye. And unless I'm shooting for, photographs or film and video, a lot of it's too dark to see.
But and as you saw when we showed the video earlier, these lit up as the people went by.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of timing in the programming for sure.
And that was actually I would put that on the high end of advanced for Lego lighting. That had an Arduino microcontroller with a really great program written by Zonker Harris.
Yes.
Right? But also you can go lower tech, like Boone did on Lego Masters when he made a mechanical sort of robotic construction that pressed buttons that turned on Lego light bricks.
Yeah.
That was very low tech, but a really smart way to do it. So you can direct things, you can turn them on and off. If you're making a movie of your mock, of course, you can turn lights on and off. Let's go to the next. Here we wanted to create mood on the...
This one's a little harder to see, I think.
Yeah, it's, again, this tree, the owl tree, was on our fantasy side, and when you saw our model, when you walk up to it, it's very light and cheerful and pastel colored. And I worked 6 LEDs into the branches. I used Pico LEDs that are very tiny, and I'll show you those too from Brick Stuff. But we wanted to be like sparkle magic was the idea, like a sparkly
Princess
magic
Sparkle
tree.
Magic?
Princess
Yes.
Sparkle Magic.
All right.
And go again. And then, so here is a very brightly lit shot of our spooky mansion, right? And it's got a bright white light overhead, and it doesn't look very spooky. And if you look close on the bottom, one of the two,
area.
in the porch, there's a porch light on the left. And on this day, our second one on the right wasn't working. But go ahead to the next one, please.
John Alexander, we haven't talked about lighting sets yet, but we are going to do that.
Yeah, this is sort of just an overview of what we've done. Now, if you look really up close in the tower of the light, there was this spooky ghost.
Yeah, up in the very
up
top
in the
tower.
very top window up there. And for people seeing it in a darker situation, like a low light part of a con or for a photograph, the ghost has a cool blue light from overhead going right on her, down on her head, and you can see the top of her hand, and she's carrying a candle that was a warm white light there. And then here's a shot of Flynn's spooky family.
I didn't know you'd put this in there.
Right, but you can see in the proper lighting there, they have cool light on the front for lighting a photograph. That's a whole other how-to that we'll do. But now the lights in the background in the porch really add mood. And you can see that what difference the color difference makes.
And look, there's a super creepy baby.
Oh, yeah. Little swaddled, super creepy baby. And then this actually isn't a video here, but this is a sneak preview of a piece we're working on right now. And behind the window there is these flicker torches again. And all of the windows of the spooky piece are going to have flicker torches behind the windows.
Yep. Hey, Paul, welcome. Good to see you.
Oh, hi, Paul.
All right, let's go to the next
I think
one.
we'll go through the whole slideshow and then we'll do the how-tos after that.
All right.
So again, this one, I keep saying it's hard to see on video. It's hard to see on video. In person, when you walked up to our werewolf clock here that had the 4 phases of the moon.
It's back behind us right
Yep,
there.
right over there. These doors would open up. There's the werewolf face down below, and then above that, doors would open up. And we wanted people to look in a giant convention on a small piece at a very, very small part of the piece. So we had a purple wall behind the figure that I lit with white light. So white light on a purple brick will make what looks like purple anyway. It doesn't have to be a purple light. And then we had spooky flicker lights on the minifigure itself. So as he turns slowly into a werewolf, he would be lit with spooky flicker light.
Spooky flicker lights.
Yep. And again, that was from Life Lights, who we've done most of our lighting with.
Yep.
Now, this was the most recent thing we've done, right? The most recent we did at Bricks Cascade. We did Ewok Adventureland with Boone and Perry, and Mark and Samuel Hampmaker helped out with that.
Yep.
And we'll show you a little video here of the difference between if I used solid lights on it, like you see in this photograph, and this is the way it looked during low light at the convention. And this sign was about 3 feet tall. And then as you tip down, you see a monorail by Boone Langston that has blinky lights on it.
A lot of lighting in this one.
Yeah, and then I think from the company Blinky Lights, Perry Nation in the front lit all of his rides with these very bright LEDs from the front, from far away. And then when they turned down, it was so cool, they turned down the lights of the convention to like 30%. And everyone's LED lights just really showed up bright.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So I think it just adds so much romance to it. And our goal, when Boone asked us to take part in that piece, he said, I want you guys to make a sign and people should see it from far away, and it should be inspired by Las Vegas.
Exactly.
So we said, well, what if Ewoks did a Las Vegas sign?
Yeah, so that's kind of where we like Disneyland sort of thing.
Yeah, and then the lights around the outside.
Yeah, and actually,
that Ferris wheel, the TIE Fighter Ferris wheel that Perry did was amazing.
And
wasn't
actually, on a future show, we are going to have Boone and Perry. Oh, yay, Cody! Thanks for liking the stream. Appreciate it.
Oh, yay, Cody! Who we met at Bricks Cascade.
Bricks Cascade, exactly right. So,
So we'll have Perry and Boone on, and they'll actually talk about that piece.
We're gonna have Perry and Boone on and talk about like how this whole thing happened. And I believe Joel Marbelli, if you're asking about the skull pieces from the Treasure of the Snake Queen, yeah, those are pre-made pieces, and they were from the Adventurer sets, and also there were some in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so
which is where we got them from.
I put a white LED behind each one, and they were paired together to come on and off at the same time, and then just red trans pieces. Those little translucent dots are your friends. So let's go further down the talk here.
Okay.
We've got okay. So we talked about why to light a MOC and how light works in the real world. That's kind of the lighting design part of it here. And then let's get more into the technology of it. How does artificial lighting work? And in LEGO lighting, we're mostly talking about LEDs, right? Light emitting diodes. Just because other than those little wheat bulbs that aren't very bright or directional, LEDs are how you get small and bright. And the cost is coming down on them. So how does artificial lighting work? In that first piece, the first slide that you saw from 2001, I just used an iPhone flashlight. And if you're taking a photograph, you can do that, right? Or you can bring up a bright image on your iPhone screen and put it outside a window. But if you're lighting for... here, I want that one, actually.
Oh, nope. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Flynn's helping.
Not really.
Here we go. So, how does artificial lighting work? First, you need power. And then you think about position, where you put it, and then finally control. How are you going to control it? So with LEGO lighting, usually you're using batteries.
Do you want the down camera?
Yeah, I think it's time to go to the down camera. Right? Usually, but not always. The problem with batteries, of course, is that you have to replace them. Let me see. So I don't get out of hand here, power, which is going to be either batteries, USB, or in a wall. And the lights I'm going to show you can do all three of those things, some of them each. And then position, so we're going to need something to hang the light in the set or mount it to studs. And then control, which can be an on-off switch, it can be pulling the battery out, or it can be a sophisticated computer-controlled system. Will you go to the next section of the outline?
Yes.
Look, I tried to be prepared. Imagine that. So then I would wonder, what lights can I use and how do they work? Some of the simplest LEGO lights you can use are power functions lights. This is a power functions motor controller. It has a little outlet here and an on-off switch, and when your battery is good, then this lights up green. And I think it takes 6 AA batteries. So if this runs out, that's a lot of cost in batteries.
Goodness.
Plus, if you're not using recyclables, then you're throwing them away. And if you're doing, say, a train layout with your LEGO users group that's going to be there for a month, then you're not going to want to use batteries because it's wasteful. People are going to have to change them out every day. So that's when you want to plug in. But if you're only going to turn it on for a short amount of time, these power functions lights are great, right? They fit in. Let me get. I thought I had a TrickyBrick here.
I can get you a TrickyBrick.
Yeah. Well, they fit in a TrickyBrick hole, which you can then, if it's a Technic beam, you can just mount it, and they go right in here like this.
Hey, Ben's Brick Designs. Haven't seen you here before. Welcome to the stream. Hi from Oakland to Austin.
So a cool thing about these fitting in a Technic brick hole is there are 1x1 Technic beams or bricks, 1x2s. So then if you create a light fixture, like I'll show you in a few minutes, even with the simplest power functions light, you can get going and light things the way you want. It's kind of expensive to buy a lot of power functions lights, and you can see, and this is an example right here of why I think LEGO hasn't done a lot of lighting. They want this to be playable, right? They want you to be able to be 6 years old, or have maybe not a lot of manual dexterity or like care when you come close to things, and they want it to work today, tomorrow, and next year, so they don't get in trouble for making something that falls apart. So that's why these are so buff, but it also makes these wires really hard to hide.
Yeah, they're unmanageable. Hey, Lucas Emery's here. How's it going? And Big Screen Bird's working on a design to let people use Tool brand batteries for this kind of lighting.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
All right. And hey, John Luttrell, welcome.
So, so power functions lights, you've also, I couldn't find ours for some reason, but now more sophisticated is powered up, right? And the powered up lights have a plug on them that goes in one of these two outlets of a powered up hub. And how powered up hub is kind of, how this works is kind of another talk, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, though, right, they kind of look like the other ones, right?
They
it's
look...
just two lights, basically, so that you could put headlights in a car, is the way I see it.
Yeah, and I think it's a great use for it. And an advantage of this, even if you're not using the powered up app is, once these two are paired by Bluetooth, this is plugged in here, it's in your model. These don't have to be connected at all. Your model this could be on a train running around a track, and then you use these plus and minus buttons to turn it on and off or blink it. So it's great for trains. And the Disney train actually uses one of those lights, right?
Yep. Hey, John Alexander, I don't know that I saw your tweet about applying stickers, but I will check it out. I have to admit, of all of the 5 billion social channels that I have to deal with, Twitter is kind of the one I use the least, because it's not that I don't understand it, but I haven't quite focused on that one yet. So I will take a look for sure. All right, you ready?
Yeah. So talking about the things available from Lego, there was power functions and powered up, but the simplest light from Lego is this little brick, right? And I've seen them in red and orange. And a cool thing is they have an axle hole here. So if you've got, let's say this is on your little monorail and it comes forward and it hits it could light this up.
Hey, Shane Levan is here.
And go away. It's a momentary switch. I would recommend against putting this in your model and expecting that an hour later it's still going to be lit. Don't do it. Why is that, Flynn?
Because
how did we learn that?
We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but in our movie mashup challenge, we had a treasure chest that was open and had red light coming out of it that was supposed to be the last power crystal that was left. There was only one left. But they ran out of batteries. We had 6 of them in there, and we had to replace them 3 or 4 times. All right, so
that's pretty much what's available from Lego. I know they're working on some stuff right now. They want to be able to offer full light kits, which I think are great. But one of the things they've asked, this is for something we'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
This is from the light. This is the power supply for the life lights.
Oh,
right.
Very good.
So outside of there, will you go? Yeah, what lights are available and how to hook them up. So. From Lego, you can do that. I have found Lego to not be as brilliant with lighting so far as they are with bricks and model making. And I think it's for that reason that I was talking about. It's kind of expensive to make something sturdy that you don't have to be super careful with.
Well, I think...
Speaking of being super careful, we're going to clean up our table here for a moment because we have special something happening.
I don't know I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean? What special thing could possibly be happening right
I don't
now?
know. Do you have the towel? We've never successfully...
all right, I think it's about that time, everyone.
Hi,
hooray! Logan.
It's Logan!
And now we pause for our commercial break.
No pun intended. And now we PAWS. Logan is so happy. Look. See, look right there. You can see he's wagging his tail. And can you do a catch? Oh, it was a bad throw and he still caught it.
Yay, Logan.
Good boy.
All right.
All right.
Always a fun time.
Yes.
So, are we moving on to our next example board?
Yes. So
All right.
now, let me say before we move into the next thing, since we're going from very, very sturdy lights with really big, giant wires to little tiny lights with little tiny fragile wires, it's time to slow down. If you're doing Lego lighting and you're doing LED lights, you don't want to rush in and yank on anything ever. Oof. Don't ever pull on anything because you're going to spend all your money and all your budget replacing things. And I found this out yesterday when I was lighting the Mystery Mansion back here.
Oh, yes.
I destroyed 2 of these little extension cords by barely pulling on them at all.
Yeah.
Let's go into the down camera.
Okay. Oh, right, down camera. Here, we will do this one.
Okay.
It's just because we never use it.
Now we're moving into little tiny things. So I've decided. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've decided that I don't want to do soldering for Lego lighting. I like to solder. I think it's fun, but I don't want to do that with our models. I want to build our models. So I buy lights that already have plugs on them and already have the LEDs hooked up. There are really brilliant people like Zonker Harris and other people we know who are great with electronics. Amy D, right, makes all of her own stuff. To do our stuff, you're going to need needle nose pliers, helps because they're smaller than fingers. Occasionally, these wire snippers, and the main reason for that is I don't like to always look, I don't ever use tape because it's messy and it sticks and you pull it off and then it pulls your connector apart. What I do is I use twist ties and I just take this little, I think it's probably 22 gauge wire, it's like little alarm bell wire, and I make my own, oops, there we go, my own way to manage cables, and I just wrap all my cables up and wrap these little twist ties around them. So I always have those. So that's why I need snips. We're not actually snipping wires other than that.
Awesome.
You'll also need tweezers for the smallest ones, right? And you need good eyes. So if you have good eyes, awesome. Otherwise, wear your glasses or magnifying glass. If you're going to do a big piece like Treasure of the Snake Queen, you might want some way to label your wires so that you don't lose track of what's where, especially after it's buried. But for just putting a couple of lights in, that's not quite as important. And then you're going to need batteries or a power supply. So let's talk about...
But you can use twist ties for this, right? Like you don't have to use
you can use twist ties, you can use Velcro. I just use wire because I got sick of always looking for twist ties.
And we have wire.
Yeah, and I know that I can bend this around and it's not going to squash anything. So, let's see. The lights that we used for Beauty and the Beast were made by Brick Stuff. We all know that Lego comes at a cost, right? It's
wait. These ones? Oh yeah, these are Brick Stuff. Yeah.
Brick Stuff, right?
Yeah.
We know that that Lego can be expensive, and Lego lighting can be expensive as well. So I'll say going in that I think Brick Stuff is an awesome product. It's easy to use, it's sturdy, it's reliable, and it's kind of pricey as well. So plan out your project. If you need 6 lights, great. Don't use 12, right?
But what's the advantage of this particular company, this particular kind of light?
Well, this particular set is small enough, and this is why it was worth it for me to spend more. This is Pico LEDs. These are, well, you can't read that, but it's warm white Pico LEDs. And can you go into ultra close-up mode? Here is a Pico LED. See that?
Whoa, that's like a pinhead.
So that's probably about, what, 4 millimeters there? It's a little bigger than that hole. And it fits inside a stud. And then the connector, we're in close-up mode, right? The connector is this tiny little guy here.
This gives me anxiety just looking at it. It's so small.
So you slow down, you take a breath, don't have too much coffee. And I'm going to use tweezers.
Yeah, I'm going to do this so that you're on top of the white backdrop.
There. Right? So that right there fits through a hole.
Like a hole,
it'll fit through a hole in the top of the cylinder. It'll fit through the hole in this leaf. And then it has 2 sides on it. You want to get it. It only goes in one way, and you never force it. And you seat it there, and then use your nail and push it in. So here's another reason why I think life lights are why I think brick stuff are a little worth the extra cost is these plugs are designed so you can take them in and out a lot of times without any pressure at all. It also means that they accidentally come out sometimes, so support your wires. So why a product like this? Here we go.
Here, I'll let you do this because...
Where's my power supply is here.
And should I turn off this top light? Just so maybe we can see a little bit better. Oh, there we go.
Here, we'll make it a little dimmer, and then and I can move this around here. So I've got all these little cards here that you're seeing.
Oh my goodness.
Oops, here we go.
So much.
There.
All right, let's plug in the power and see what happens. This is very exciting.
There we go. Oops. So this set has a brain. Will you go to the wider out shot for a moment? We're going to go back close up a minute. It has a little brain right here. So power, positions, where you put it in your model, and control. And in this case, this control is this little brain. So there's a little plug here that goes in, and then there's 2 plugs out here. Those 2 plugs, can we go to bright light again? I mean, not bright, go to bright light and close up. So I wanted to show you how this works. And it looks very complex because there's lots of wires. What's that?
What are we looking at?
But it's really pretty easy. Here's your power, your battery pack. And then it goes into, there's an input right here. And then there's 2 outputs. And this goes to some lights, and this goes to others. And this has an on-off switch on it. So there's power, control, and positions. Here's where we put the light in the model, right?
So Joel is asking, do you ever have to compromise your design because the lights you use won't allow you to build the way you wanted?
Yes and no. I'm going to say yes because I have to plan room to hide wires.
But I also think this points out. I'm going to try.
Turn that off again.
This points out something else too, and I don't think you can see it as well in the video
because you can't see the wide variety of colors here.
Yeah,
right?
is that each of these is going through a different transparent colored Lego piece, which is in turn coloring the lights.
Yeah, so these are red crystals here. These are all white lights.
Yeah,
right. These are warm white lights like the torch colors, right? This is a green crystal going through here, and then these are trans green that I could light up with black light if I wanted to.
Brickaroo Bonsai says, I assume you can connect to the brain in order to program it. Those, I believe, come pre-programmed.
Well, so
right?
That's why this is so easy. Basically, what's that?
No,
so that's why this is so easy. This brain has programs right in it. I'm going to hit a button here. Turn off the light again. I'm going to hit a button here, and then suddenly we've got aircraft landing lights. If you put those in a row, going down aircraft landing lights.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going? Welcome. So good to see you. Yes, it's I know it's funny. A lot of people who've come here don't know anything about Lego, and they're learning a lot. It's great. So I'm glad.
So without taking too much time on just this brick stuff set, now I've hit a button and they're all static. They're all on all the time. I hit it again and it's flickering, so now we're in a sci-fi setting and there's sparks all over the place. And then the last thing about this is it has a little knob on it so you can slow down all of the effects to faster or slower.
Wow.
Right? So you don't have to
Packs a lot in a tiny space, right?
You don't have to be a programming genius to use this set. You just have to be careful and work with these small things. And the last thing I wanted to show you is this is a Y, right? Here's your power coming in from the...
Here,
is this close up?
Put it over the white so then people can see it.
Sorry. here's one. Here's your power coming in, and then here's 2 lights going out. That's just the tiny wire for 2 individual lights there going out. So you got to hide that in. I can't, Flynn. There's a wire. There we go. So you got to be able to hide this card in your model as well. And I like hiding all these things behind, and then putting a TrickyBrick with hole in the back wall of the model and running the stuff through. So that's brick stuff.
All right.
They have a lot of different things. They have longer and shorter extension cords, and they have different kinds of brains. And then you can also buy from them pre-made, yes, you can buy from them pre-made light posts and other things like that where you don't have to do any programming or assembly at all.
All right.
So now this is this mess of wires here. Please don't be scared. This is just that I hooked up a bunch of stuff all at once.
Well, it doesn't have that much more wires than the last thing you showed. It's just that that they're bigger wires.
Yeah. And the wires on the other one, again, don't be scared by those wires, because really, all you need is a power supply plugged into a control, which could just be a switch or just into the light, and then the light. You don't even need a switch in between. And then if you want to do 6 lights, then it's 6 wires, so it gets complex like that. So
right, let's go close up. Are we starting at this corner?
No.
Where are we starting?
Okay, I'm gonna show you here. This is Life Lights, and this is the simplest set from Life Lights. It comes with a battery pack that takes 2 AAA batteries.
Cam, I've been scared the whole time. It's really not that scary.
Okay.
I promise.
So I made the mistake of giving myself a manicure because I like short nails, and I did it just before I need nails for this. So see, this card has little connections to the card, so you don't want to yank around on it, right? Can I just pull this out?
So I'm curious about because these wires are bigger. I mean, I guess it's sort of a more overarching issue. I'll wait till we get there.
Yeah, and I can talk about hiding wires too. So here's the battery box. This little plug here that is not going to focus.
It's like a tiny, like internet plug.
Yeah, and a thing to know, if you buy Life Lights, I'm not going to go into detail about this right now, but if you buy Life Lights and you want to use your lights over and over and over again, the way you do with the Brick Stuff lights, follow their little tutorial that says that there's 2 little teeth, one on each side, that's designed for these to hold them together forever, and you just take an X-Acto blade and chop off those little 1mm teeth. So I won't show you how to do that, but do the video, because then you can use them over and over again. So, battery. In this case, I'm going to go into this is another of those Y cards, right? It's just, everything's so small they can't do it with a wire. They're doing it on a card, right? I'm going to plug this in, and it can only go in one way, and I turn it on, and look. Here are the torch fixtures from Ewok Adventureland. Here are just some plain Life Lights like this. And then over here is a light fixture, just like, except that it's not white. This is the fixture that I used in that little cafe. It's a, turn the lights back on again, please.
Isn't that the one you used in the saloon, right? Like
and that. I did it in the saloon. So this is the first how to make a light fixture, right?
Oh, so so this is now we're moving on to how to do a light fixture.
No, let me show you one other thing. So this works pretty well, but it's just 2 AAA batteries, right? And what if I want to use 30 lights or 6 lights? And Jake Potter, fortunately, you can go back and watch the video of it as well. So going here, I'm going to take my 2 nails. I am never, ever, ever going to pull on this wire. If you pull on the wire, you will be sad. I'm just going to rock it back and forth a little bit. And this is the hardest thing with Life Lights, getting those little plugs out, right? And I don't even use tweezers on this. I use my nails. The reason I did this is this allows you to plug it into the wall. And so if you're going to do a convention or a layout where you're going to leave it for a month, or you just don't want to waste any more batteries.
Yes, so much better too.
This is a little USB plug with a little bit of electronics on it. I'm not also plugged into the battery at the same time. Let me see. And then there's a switch here. Where's the switch?
The one, it's so tiny.
There it is.
Barely find it.
Wait, no, I didn't plug into this. Right? Power. And then there. And you can go into any of the three. And look how much brighter that is.
They're way brighter.
Way, way, way brighter, and they're not going to burn out.
Yep.
Right? And so to just show you the kinds of things I've got here, I have cool white lights, and I can light from far away or up close, or you can actually see the bulb like in a car headlight, right? That's two ways to think about lighting in the real world. The sun is above, and look, it's just cheerful lighting from above, or seeing the bulb itself like a car headlight, right? So now let's talk about how to actually make fixtures. Now you have all these, look, I have a loose LED. What am I even going to do with that? So what you do with it, this is a 3mm LED.
So that's one of the things about these ones, right? They're bigger than the Pico lights.
These are, I think these are called nano LEDs, although Rob Hendricks could correct me on that. He's the super friendly owner of Life Lights, who has helped us out lots and just very accessible with how-tos and all that. So these are nano LEDs, and both Life Lights and Brick Stuff make Pico LEDs. So the difference is these plugs are much bigger, and they won't fit through a hole in a cylinder. Here's a red one, and he codes all his so you don't lose them, right? So this fits through a Technic brick with hole. No, this bulb.
Do you need another?
Nope. Okay. Fits through a Technic brick with hole. Just like that. Easy. In, out, no problem, right? But I want to control it, so I put a cone on the front, right? And you can see the bulb is sticking out there, but now from all other views, you don't see it.
Here, why don't you shine it on my hand with and without the cone?
Okay,
so
hang on. I just lost my LED light.
This one?
Well, I just dropped it on here. That's so funny. Like it was there a second ago, now it's not here. Here, let's use these. No, let's use this blue one instead. Okay. So, oh, actually, turn on the light because I want to finish this fixture, and then I will shine it on you. So, Technic brick with hole. A 2x2 plate goes underneath. That's how you're going to mount it on something. And then this is the key here to keep the wire from coming out. Put a
double cheese wedge.
A double cheese wedge, and it half covers that hole. So it doesn't pinch it, it's not going to break it, but it's going to stop it from coming out. And if the light comes out of your fixture and it's deep in your model, then again, you're sad.
Hey, so Samuel Bray on Facebook, welcome. So glad to have you.
So that's a basic light fixture. I'll plug it into here. I'll plug it in.
Tiny work.
Right, and then
here
right, and it's very spotty, right? So this is a spot. It's more like a car headlight that has direction, and it only goes where I want it to go. It goes onto the minifigure or whatever I want to point it to. And then if I take the snoot off,
the
cone, this little, I'm sorry, that's a lighting term. This little cone, if I take it off, then it's a much wider fixture. But you can also see it, so it might be distracting to people walking up to your model. So I like to put a snoot, a little cone on there. Bring the lights back, please.
All right.
So then you can imagine that light.
So no, but what if you wanted more lights? Like, that's great if you just have one, but what if you need to conserve space?
If you need, if you find that this isn't bright enough, and in your bedroom it may be much brighter than it's going to be when you show it out in a convention, then you can also,
let's do this so people can see that.
Here's a 3-wide Technic beam, and I'm just going to triple the amount of light by doing
a 3-hole Technic beam.
A 3-hole Technic beam 3 snoots here, and then I've got, it's 4 studs wide, so I've got 2 of these things here, and I've masked this for a black location. You can do this in any color that they make these parts in, right? So if you want to hide it in a forest, use all green parts. And we did that in Snake Queen, right? Or on your beach, you can use tan parts. So now we've got the light, but it's stuck down to the plate, and you can only light straight forward. So what do? You want to be able to tilt it up and down. So I use these little rocker hinges, right? I love how small this rocker hinge is. It's just tiny. And then you put that, where's my other little fixture? Here's my little fixture, right? And now I can put it up on a shelf and tilt it down, or I can, I can turn it the other way and tilt up. There we go. That's the way I like a lot. Like, it's down here, I'm gonna tilt up and light the spooky monster right here, right? And then
we do a lot of that.
Right? We light spooky monsters a lot. So now you can tilt up and down, no problem, but I want to go left and right because my figure's actually over here. So the last thing I add to it is in the right color, hopefully, but we run out of rotators.
Can we see the rotator?
Yeah. So a rotator, right? And there's a rotator on the bottom. So now you've got a fully articulated light fixture that goes left and right without friction, so you got to control the wires, right? Just control how your wire pulls, and then it can't go back and forth.
Yep.
And up and down, right? And it retains your wire.
Hey, Wilfred. Bonjour.
You can do it in green for in a forest. You can mount, and then once you have this basic fixture, this is the cool thing. I don't know, I think it's cool. Once you have this basic fixture, you can use any Technic connection to put it anywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty cool.
So you can use a snot piece. You can, by putting this rotator on top, you can hang it from the ceiling. You can tilt down from the ceiling. This is my base light fixture. And then here's a version where I put it on a ball hinge, and it was going to be in some rocks, so I made it all gray.
That's awesome.
Right, so all those different versions, all from that one simple idea. The things you need are a Technic brick with hole, a cheese wedge, rotator, and a rocker hinge. And then from this idea, you know, all you clever people who build with Lego, you can build any little fixture you want.
Okay, so what if I wanted my light, instead of pointing out, what if I wanted my light to go up and down?
Okay, so for Ewok Adventureland, and one thing you'll notice here is I'm not ripping these things in and out of these little boxes here. And what this box is, I might as well show you that now while I'm doing it. This is just like that little chip that I showed you, this one here. So there you've got 1 power in and 2 out, and it's got handy 2 little holes that you can mount on studs in your model. Here is 1 in, 8 out, right?
So many lights.
And it just mounts on a brick, right? So those are the 2 ways to split it out around your model. And I run, they sell little male-to-male extension cords, and you run it around your model and diffuse it out that way. But talking about making fixtures, you wanted to know how you get it on a wall.
Horizontal or vertical.
Yeah, so in this case, I used a 1x3 plate. Here, I'll take it all apart. This is the same fixture as the other one. There you are, a 1x1 Technic brick with hole. In this case, I want the lighting to go everywhere, not just spotty, so I used a clear cylinder on there. And it holds it in. I shaved this guy down a tiny bit to get him...
The light.
Yeah, there's a little ledge on some of these LEDs, like 1 millimeter wide on either side. Some of them have them, some of them don't. If it doesn't have it, then it fits right in the hole in a cylinder. And this one doesn't have it. From Life Flights, specifically.
So real quick, Bill Ward was saying, instead of using the rotator, why not mount it on a single stud so you can rotate it, but the friction keeps it in place?
Absolutely, yes.
You could do that, but also I think like with a larger fixture like this, having it on one stud, and once the wires get on it, it's heavy, and sometimes the wires can pull. And I think you would risk it popping off frequently. So,
I agree with both of you. I think the sturdier method that's harder to control is the rotator. But if you have good control over your fixtures and there's not a lot of moving parts on them, then just a little stud is perfect. Yeah, anything to create friction. Any kind of Technic connection is great. So 1x1 Technic brick with hole. I've got an upside down cylinder in it here. And this... A cool thing about this bulb is it's got that flicker built right in. You just buy a flicker bulb from Lifelights. I think maybe Brick Stuff does them as well. And you don't have to do any programming at all. This is so just basically, it's through this little box here that's just like splitting it out. But this is just plugged into the battery. So
cool.
That's the functional part of the fixture right there. And the rest of this is decorative. I put a cylinder there with a cheese wedge. I put a cylinder,
and also like it's covering up
it covers up the works, right? So you make the functional part of your fixture and then you decorate it to go with your model. And then this just goes on snot pieces, and we put this just like this on the face of our model. And I'll actually show you here.
Is it the light or the board that flickers? Holly, in this case, it's the bulb. So it's a special bulb that you can get that already has the flicker in. But what's interesting that you would say that, there are boards that you can, of course, do. There are ones that you can get a control board and adjust the flicker. But interestingly, you were showing me earlier is that if you're connecting multiple things to one splitter, if your flicker bulbs are in the front of the series, it makes everything behind them flicker too, even if they're not flicker bulbs.
Here, let's show that right now. Okay. You can turn out the light.
All right.
Okay, so right here, this is kind of a tangle, but I've got my power here, and then I'm going underneath here. I've hidden wires, and I'll show you that in a minute, to one of those 8-way splitter boxes here, right? And look at this. These are fine and steady, right? But then my power goes out of this box and into these flicker bulbs. And then you go over here, and especially when we were on battery power, is it not doing it now? Oh, on battery power, you can tell everything downstream gets a voltage fluctuation and flickers. So if you're like, why are all my other lights flickering? Don't put them in line with your flicker bulbs. Put them on a separate, on a separate line.
Right.
And then can I just show this here? Here's with the battery. Look, see? There you go. It's like bright. It's dimmer, and these guys are kind of, I don't know if you can see there.
Vaguely
like those guys are flickering as well, and that might be annoying if that's. So I say plug it into the wall.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, so
now that we've got all of these we've seen how to do light fixtures and stuff, but now I find, and I know this is one of your biggest jobs.
What's that?
is covering the cables. Like you can't just have this massive wires hanging out, right?
Right. That so there's on this board there's 3 methods of cable control.
Which one do you want to show first?
I think I want to take some of these guys off the board now.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot. A lot of things on there.
Yeah, well, my idea was to go from the complex board to look how easy it is. You can pull these guys off, pull these guys off.
Okay.
And then
look at that.
We'll just pull them off to the side.
Okay, so Joel Marbella says, so power source can affect brightness. Are there controls or boards that allow you to control the brightness of the LEDs?
There are. The Brick Stuff ones, these Brick Stuff ones that I showed you a few minutes ago, this battery pack here controls this brain, and the circle, the black circle on this brain is a volume knob. So on the setting where everything stays on all the time, you just turn that and you can turn it up and down. Mm-hmm. Or on the ones that have an animation where it's blinking all over the place, it'll speed or slow the animation.
Yep.
And then Lifelights also has, I think it's called an MCU Basic.
Not the Marvel universe.
It's a control unit, an LED control unit, which does the same function. And just to go a little deeper on that, if you want to control a lot of blinky lights and your control board has 2 outs, you're only going to have 2 circuits, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. But if you have one that's got 8 outs or 6, then it can be more like flickery
like
blinky.
Chaser lights.
Yeah, so just think about that before you spend money on a controller. So there's multiple ways to control your wires here. A thing that I discovered, and it changed my life, is that 2 dots are 1x1 round plates.
Let me bring it into the camera.
Here we go. 2 1x1 round plates have a space underneath that edge there. And you can run a wire in that space. This little, I don't know if this is 22 gauge wire, it's very small wire. You can run that between those. And then now I've controlled a wire, and you can imagine how you can turn corners, you can run all over your model between dots. And what I do is, before I put down the second dot, I jiggle this back and forth a little bit, and then it runs the wire vertically and lets me know that I'm not crunching the wires, because the copper in there is really tiny.
Well, and that brings me to another point too, is that you do in some ways while you're building the mock, you kind of have to pre-plan your lighting a little bit, right?
Well, you do. In California Dreamin', when you looked at that Hollywood set, not only were you seeing lights, but you were also seeing landscape that was terraced.
It's perfect, purposely covering it up.
Yes, there was landscape, and we had multiple plates coming together. But here, I've just taken 4 dots, right, that can have wires run between them. Oops. And covered them over. So there's wires coming out here. There's wires here.
Show it right on here.
We have a longer plate
like this? Oh, a longer
it doesn't
plate.
bridge. Well, here, if I just move these, you can sort of extrapolate. You can hide that under any brick you want, and then run your plating around it.
And then terrace up the sides, right?
And that's what I've done here as well. I showed these. Oh, thank you, Carol Merrill. Right here. See? Right there. Isn't that lovely? These 1x3s here are, do we have a brick separator? There we go.
Wow, that was the fastest we've ever found one.
Well, because I put it in our new Lego coffee cups.
Yes, from Christopher. And I know there's another one coming. I'm very excited.
So, pre-planning with your model, if you're going to run, like if you're doing landscaping, this works really well. It works better for landscaping than it does for buildings. With buildings, I usually run the wires around the ceiling. But see, you can see here demonstrated by Ms. Thing, I've run a line of plates here, and then down there's a trough for the base plate, and then another line here, and this 1x3 covers over it. And if this was in green, it pretty much goes invisibly in your landscape.
Minifig Chick says, so it's basically a Lego and wire sandwich. Yes.
Yes,
it is.
exactly. And the nice thing about it is this is safe and protected now. So as long as you never yank it over here, and that's easy to do if you're like pulling open an access door and you forget. Right?
Well, and also, sorry, Bill Ward says the need to plan ahead is what makes it hard because you're always building by the seat of your pants. You know what? We do the same thing. And I just want to say, like, I think the pre-planning it ahead of time is more important for buildings and probably less important for landscaping, only because once your wires are there, you can kind of retroactively go and cover everything how it needs to be covered.
Yeah.
But there does need to be a little bit of, forethought.
But I do this too.
That's covering cables. Can I remove this now?
I think you can remove that now.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia Child.
So what I'll do is and I do this in my professional work as well. I'll say, I have a battery pack that's going to live behind the model. And then I have, in my building, I've got 4 windows, that are going to get LEDs in them. So I need to go to one splitter board, and that's going to go out to like this. One more splitter board, light, light. One more splitter board, light, light. So now I know I need to hide all these wires along the ceiling, and I have to have a place for the, for this. Like this has two, if we're using the lights ones, this has two stud holes, so I can build a plate thickness into the wall to hold that. And I need a place in the back where I can get to it to change the batteries or plug it into the wall. So to that degree, you got to figure out where to run your wires. But putting in the light fixtures, as long as you have places for them, you can put them in later. And I recommend it. Flynn and I have had...
Are we ready for this?
Yes. Flynn and I have had this thing happen where we build the model, and then I put the lights in, and then I run all the wires and hide all them, and then we discover there's something wrong with the model and we have to change it. And then you rip all the wires out. So pre-plan where your wires go.
Hey, I want to try something, and we'll see if this works. I'm not sure how it will come across, but I'm... Hey, Nick Army, how's it going? Welcome.
Can I plug this in?
Let's see. Oh, this is great. So many new faces today. It's so awesome. I have, I think, a way that I can, and I'm going to turn this light off so we can see kind of what you've got going on here.
I want to plug this into the wall. Are they all on?
Look at that.
I can't believe it. They're all on.
Be careful of that.
Ooh, sorry. I just hit our camera. Haha.
So look, I can pull close up and far away with my front cam now because...
So this is the Scooby-Doo Mystery Mansion. And I'll show, I have one other kind of lights to show you too. But I ran the Ewok Adventureland torches around it. And what I wanted to show you here is...
Let me see if I can get close up on that. There we go.
There, right? I put one of these fixtures right here without a flame on it, and it's on a hinge, and it's behind the banister for the most part. It's a little bright on his chest, but it's pointed right up at his face. So that is just plugged right into the battery. All of these are plugged into those little Y cables that go into the battery.
John Luttrell, what does MOC stand for? MOC stands for My Own Creation. My Own Creation.
And then let's turn this around and back. And then can you pull out a little more and we can bring our lights back.
Mm-hmm.
So in a pretty quick way last night, what I did is I said battery pack is here in the back of the model. And then right here, where you can't see, tucked into a window frame just on studs, is one of those little 8-way boxes. And then I ran my wires out. And I didn't do a really good job of hiding the wires. This is just for demonstration, but I knew that these columns here would be a great place to run a wire down. And then I gave these wrenches to wrap the wire around, and they go in there.
Well, and I should say too, right? Like it depends on from where your model's going to be seen from, right? Like if nobody's going to see this from the back, then who cares if the wires are hanging out, right? It's like less work trying to cover them all up, right?
Exactly. And when you go to the down cam, just one more moment.
Yes.
Close up down cam.
Oh my! All right.
Okay, so here's a shot here of this little spot. And I could have put a solid cone there, but I wanted to light more of the area. And it's on a hinge, so I can point it right at the guy's face. And then over here you can see, kind of messy, but I could do it more neat. Along this bar at the top of the, and normally there's not a down cam, right? On the top of this bar, I ran a wire with dots to control it. And then it's hard to see here. It's... Maybe you can't. There, look at that. 2 more dots right there are binding that wire against the wall and getting it back into the model.
Oh, thank you so much, Aubrey. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that so much.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oops.
So
make sure you grab that. That is definitely something to think about. Is when you're moving these models, it's real easy to forget about the to forget about the battery pack, and then all of a sudden
falls and it pulls. So I hope, I'd like to open it up for, oh no, I have one other thing that's cool.
As long as it's cool.
It's cool. Where is it? Where are the lights from, I think, here.
Yeah, sorry the super chat animation didn't go, but, you know, it's not on all the pages all the time.
We're getting all the boxes.
I'm checking all the boxes.
Yeah. Okay, how am I gonna, oh, I gotta pull this up here.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's go back to the down cam.
All right, close or far?
I think close.
All right.
Okay, so these are from TrickyBricks, and I just got these at Bricks Cascade, and I haven't used them yet. I'm so excited about these because they're super bright. So remember I said you could put the torchlight or candlelight or whatever right in your window? In a convention setting, seeing the source is very important, I think, ideally.
For certain things.
If you want it to be bright.
Yeah.
So seeing the candlelight, if you can see the LED, it's bright. If you're on Lego Masters and you're in a bright television studio and you're Mel and Germain, you might take your Lego lights and put them in the eyes of your Sphinx, which are super bright because you're looking right at the LED. And I think that just looked great.
It did.
In a situation where you don't want to see the source, like with Perry's lighting of his amusement park for Ewok Adventureland, you can use lights like these.
May I get rid of this?
Yes.
All right.
These are incredibly bright LEDs. It's a 1x4 brick. Sorry, we can, here, I'll pull it way far away. Let's turn off our lights.
Wow, that is super bright.
This is from like 2 feet away. These guys here, this is just one of them lighting me, right?
Wows.
So there's 4 LEDs. We can bring back the normal lights here, and I'll stop blinding people.
Oh.
So in this one little set that was pretty cheap, I don't know the exact cost of things. I pretend I don't know.
And this is blinkybricks.com.
Yeah, blinkybricks.com. So this isn't an actual Lego brick. This is someone else's brick, a 1x4. And it's got these 4 warm white LEDs right inside there and these tiny wires that would be easy to hide. You can even, I haven't said this yet, but you can put Lego over these wires and seal it in and it won't ruin it. But just don't do it hard and don't do it a ton of times, right?
Right.
Right? So don't cram it down there, but I'm going right underneath a Lego connection there, no problem at all. And those wires are smaller than the Lifelights ones. So very easy to hide. And that's the last kind of bricks that I've worked with before. We went over a lot of stuff there, and I hope it wasn't scary. And if you have any questions, let me know.
You can email us at...
Oh yeah, you can email, and I'll go into, sort of reasoned, thoughtful, long response. Or if you want to mention in the chat, thank you, Minifig Chick. That's very cool of you to put those links right there. And they have all of those sites have really great support materials too. Actually, I haven't been to the TrickyBricks site, but they were nice in person.
So I'm interested. Like, it seems like the lights that you can buy from Lego are very specific.
Yes.
But the like meant for specific purposes. You get 2 lights, and they're clearly meant to be like headlights or thing. And they have their uses though, right? Like it's not like Lego lights are something we shouldn't use. They definitely have a lot of uses.
Yeah, I mean they're great. Light is light, right? Like the light out of an iPhone is not so very different from the light from a candle or the sun or, a Lego light. It's just a matter of brightness and direction and color. So I think Lego lights are great. I don't find them as easy to hide or work with as these sort of specifically made third-party lights. So but I'm really optimistic to see what Lego's coming up with. They're working on it now.
So John Alexander says, how would one light something tiny like the Infinity Gauntlet or a set like Stranger Things, and I think that would be those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were here earlier, but the Pico lights that we talked about have really, really thin. Now, I don't know if that Infinity Gauntlet has a hole in it, but if you really want to light it up, you might have to, like, if you want it lit from the inside, you might have to do a little bit of naughty business.
I want to pull one of these.
Johnny. Oh yes, actually, the live chats are always included in the video once the video gets uploaded to YouTube. So if you watch it right after we broadcast, you won't see it. Again, it takes YouTube a while to actually upload them. So, yeah.
I'm just pulling out this one. I just wanted to show them.
Oh, the one tiny thing.
One of these things. So if you want to light small, Pico LEDs are the way to do it. From either, I've seen them from Life Lights and from Brick Stuff. If you want to get rid of that.
Yep.
I mean, this guy.
Oh, well, if the Infinity Gauntlet has a hole and uses a Technic pin to attach, then you should be able to run one of these Pico lights inside it.
Do you want to go back down to down camera up close for a second?
I do.
And then
there we go.
And do we have something? Pull a cone off the tray over there.
Okay.
Any cone. Do I have? Oh, here I have a cone.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so I mean, look at how small that is. Here's the hole in a cone.
Johnny, this was so enlightening.
Oh, I see
Johnny's
what you
getting
did
in
there.
On the puns.
So I mean, there it is. There's the plug fitting right through a hole in the top of a cone. So
now,
it's hard to get.
Pin?
I don't know how to get smaller than that. Oh, through a Technic pin?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try it.
Let me grab a Technic pin from somewhere.
Yeah, the board here is actually, that board on my thumbnail there is actually a little bit bigger and won't go through the hole. It sits on top of the hole. I wouldn't go with the TrickyBricks bars for Stranger Things because I just think they would be too bright. Right? And then here we go. First time right here on the TrickyBricks build-in chat. Right through. Is it going to go through? Oh, is there there's an obstruction in the Technic pin.
Nope. Jeremy says that there was.
It won't go through.
It won't go through.
No, it will not.
Shocking.
There's an obstruction in the middle there that's too small, so it won't go through the hole in a Technic pin.
Oh, bummer.
But you can run a rail around the top of a ceiling. No one's gonna, if you want to use some weak tape up there, just be careful pulling it off. But you can also use that in the ceiling. We can go back to the front lights again. But thanks for doing all that. In the ceiling of a model like Stranger Things, there must be the bottom of plates, right? So if you put dots up under the ceiling, you can run your wires between those dots and it will hold them up out of the way.
Mairead is saying, what about if we tried to put the wire in first? Let's see.
That's what I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. The plug is much smaller than the chip that the LED is on.
Well, because too, this is meant so this light is meant to be able to go through a small hole in a stud or whatever, right? But because of the thickness of the pin, it makes that hole smaller.
Yeah. So about the smallest that I know you're going to get through is the hole in the end of a cone or a cylinder. Pretty small.
Yeah, we tried putting the connection through. You might have to. Yeah, you may have to like sneak in there and pull it through. But
I don't want to force it. No, I mean, you may be braver than me, but I don't want to force anything like this.
Holly is clearly braver than us with her, like, no Windex stickers.
Yes, well, Holly is bold.
Lights.
The other thing you could do, if you want to go dark side like Kara, is you could take a little Dremel drill and drill out the inside of the pin, and no one's going to know.
Yeah,
right?
You might be able to, we'll see.
I mean, you could just ream that out a little bit, and it probably would go. But I think along the ceiling, if anyone gets up to your model and looks at the ceiling, then shame on them. They deserve to see behind the scenes.
Well, golly, that was
What do you think? Was it too much? I hope you learned some stuff. We can have another session sometime. Like, one thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't really is you can use things like truss or trees or these like railway things on your set, and if you shine your light through it,
do we want to?
Yeah, go to down cam.
Oh no!
What happened? Did we lose everyone?
No.
There, right? Look, use a window in the side of your set or anything to cast a shadow, and then suddenly, and with your minifigure there, oh no, it's very spooky and sci-fi, and then now I'm going through holes. You can put stuff in between the light and what you're lighting,
like a gobo.
Like a gobo, exactly. Or like here.
Ooh, I like that.
Right, the sunlight through the trees. So you can make your spooky scene with Lego in the way of your lights.
That's awesome.
So I think that's what I wanted to cover. It jumped around a little bit, but I had, 30 years of stuff there to talk about.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
You kept it pretty concise, I gotta
say. Well, you helped with that,
It's only 137, so there you go. I mean...
it's only 137.
11:37. So, all right. Well, I hope that everybody enjoyed the class today. I know I did. I learned some stuff I didn't know, even from working next to you. So, we, just as a reminder, our our challenge this week is Fun in the Sun. So whatever that means to you, going camping, going to the beach, whatever, however you would have fun in the sun, go ahead, and we're going to make that a 32 by 32 base plate is the largest that it can be, but you can make it as small as you want. And then
just
you will
something gosh darn cheerful.
Yeah, something fun and cheerful. And then you'll be able to send those to Flynn at TrickyBricks.com, or if you go to the community tab, we will... we have listings there. There's a Google form. So if you have a Google account, this is a new way of getting your photos to us. You can go to that Google form that's listed in the community tab, put your name and description, and upload your photo, and it'll actually help streamline the process for us a lot. And if you are emailing your photos, I will ask... if you are able, I know you can't if you're sending from your phone, but if you are able, rename the file as your name.
It shouldn't say DSCN 4037B.
Yeah, I mean sometimes. And thanks Joel for the super chat. Appreciate
I know, that's so cool.
Thank you so much. Super sticker. Thank you so much. So the Google form, I think it'll be easier. It'll be easier for all of us, really.
Yep. And if you don't have a Google account, you can just attach it to an email. No problem.
Send it along, and we'll still make it work. There is what else? Oh, if you need to. And I got an email today that there's something coming to the
post office box.
So that is, if you want to send us something to our P.O. box, like viewer mail or fan art or a postcard or, I don't know, something, whatever, hate mail, I don't know.
And you can, an empty chapstick.
You can send it to P.O. Box 11517, Oakland, California 94611. Wow, I did like a whole like Peter Brady thing there.
Smooth. Because it's time to change.
Well, so anyway, yes. So thank you so much. Hope you learned something today.
Yeah, I like these Monday how-tos. They're fun.
Yeah, I do too. They are a good time. And definitely if you have questions or you have suggestions of what would make a good how-to for our Mondays, please email them. And I'm going to put that email up again. Please email us. And we will get that. We'll put that on the list.
Yeah. And,
same thing if you have clever ideas for challenges that you think might be fun. We are open. Like, this is a show that belongs to all of us, so we love input from y'all about it. So,
and too, in the same way that we ask you all for information and stuff, if you get into lighting your Lego and you have a question, send us an email and I'll answer.
Absolutely.
Or any topic that we know something about, or maybe we even don't, and we'll just pretend that we do.
Awesome.
No, well, if you ask us a question we don't know the answer to, we will find the answer.
It's true. We do our best.
Yep.
As you know, we are not here tomorrow. It's Tuesday. We will be back on Wednesday. And on Thursday, very special show, we are having Matthew Ashton, the Vice President of Design at LEGO, creator of Unikitty and judge of the UK LEGO Masters.
Wait, what's his job again?
Vice President of Design at LEGO.
Oh my goodness.
So if you have, we are going to be doing some questions with him, but we are taking the questions ahead of time.
Yep.
So if you want to send us any questions, please do send it and like put question for Matthew Ashton in the subject line and send it to Flynn at TrickyBricks.com before Thursday so that we can have, time to check it out. So.
And I'm not going to make a challenge of this. We won't make a challenge of this because, some people it's someone's thing. It's not other people's thing. But if you've done any lighting with Lego and you want to share it, send us some pictures and we'll share them.
Absolutely.
I just want to see what you've made.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your Tuesday. And I just wanted to say, make sure that you stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, and we will see you Wednesday morning at 10 a.m.
Bye, everyone. Have fun.
Bye. See ya.